So you guys know I'm like a high performance coach, right? I help people live enthusiastically by understanding how their subconscious and how their brain works to affect every decision they have, every decision they make every day. And I cannot believe how fun that is. Like, I'm blown away by my clients, what they're doing in this world. I'm completely like in shock and awe, if you would, by the incredible people that I'm meeting and the incredible things that they're doing out there. If you're struggling with habits, if you're struggling with challenge, here's the famous words. You ready? I know what I should be doing, but that seems to be the thing that we all resonate with at some point. Another thing is a lot of people these days are coming out and saying that they're beating themselves up a lot. We tend to hold ourselves at this high level of accountability. We expect so much from ourselves, and we think we should be doing this, and we think we should be doing that. And we're pointing at those things going, we're not doing it. I'm not doing that enough. I'm not doing that enough. I'm not doing that enough. Take a minute, man. What did you do today? What did you do yesterday that was awesome? What did you do that affected somebody? That's the way to look at it. You got to start there and then expand that. Don't look at the lack. Look at what you're doing and look at what you have and expand it. Just a little insight there. All right, so far, let's do a quick review real quick before Jess gets here. Jess is going to pop on, and when she gets here, I'm going to be like, that's it, I'm shutting up. I'll tell her where I caught you guys up to and stuff. But she's going to pop on because I want to give her the whole freaking hour. The gold that she is sharing is just amazing. So in session 1, we talked about audiences. And we dove in and we rooted around in the audience a little bit and how to build your audience, how to find your audience, and the amazing insights that that Facebook can provide and you can use to select who your audience is. And then in the second session, we built an ad. We got around to it and we put together an ad, and she walked us through that process. The way that I personally have done this in the past is I've used trainings like this, and I'll sit there and I'll play a piece of the training, and then I will go do the task. Play the training, go do the task. Play the training, go do the task. And that's how I've learned how to use Facebook ads a little bit. By no means am I an expert. I'm currently working with another social media manager to run some Facebook ads for me and to manage that part of it. And Jess is doing this professionally at like the next level. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm excited about her being here. All right, so I'm going to start rattling off. Let's see who's here today. Who has shown up? Have you guys signed in? If you haven't yet, please do me a favor. Go down below, click that Q&A link, and get ready to ask questions. So today is going to be so full of information from Jess that you're going to want to have that form up so that as soon as she says something and you're like, wait a second, this way or that way, up or down, left or right, this button or that button, what did she say? Could you get her to repeat that? You know, and especially if the video breaks up, because I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be testing my Wi-Fi today. I'm going to be testing my router a little bit. I think Tara has some exciting stuff going on today as well. But get that Q&A thing open and let me know where you guys are from, and I'm going to welcome everybody here in a few minutes. Awesome. Awesome. It's Lee here. I'm wondering if Lee's out there, because no, she hasn't signed in yet. I hope so. I hope Lee's here today. I like Lee a lot. We'll talk about that later, maybe. More water. Drink a lot of water, especially if you're running the mouth like I am. All right, I expect Jess to be here a few minutes late after the hour. And we're going to get started here in just a minute. Officially, I haven't gotten officially started yet. I'm really excited about this because the cool parts are the value that Jess is bringing and the value that I'm going to be able to share with you guys ongoing because of this is awesome. All right, it's about 10 o'clock. How many people are here? Nobody. Wait, no, Sarah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's see. People, the delay must be catching up. Seth is back. Awesome. Brent, what's going on, Brent? Scott, good to see you. Keith, what's going on, Keith? Awesome. I love it. I love technology, man. I'm thankful for technology. I'm gonna take a second to expound on that, man. I work building these machines, right? Like the chips inside the computers and inside the phones that we're using. I've worked to build those things. I want to turn my, hang on one second. Let me catch up with Jess. Uh-oh, Jess is on the way. Woohoo! All right, so Jess is here, or Jess is going to be coming on in just a second. I believe. I'm going to make sure I'm double checking. So to keep you guys up to date, yes, Jess is here.
Hello.
Jess is leaving a meeting. Awesome. So welcome, Jess. Great. I'm glad you made it. I am going to go to airplane mode now on my phone to try and turn off the Wi-Fi load. Come on. Sorry, guys. Delay. Now we got the delay going on, and my phone's all confused. You know what? I'm just going to turn it off. Boom. That's easier. Okay, guys. Let's get this thing started. So what's going on? We got Jess Bahr here from Social Flow. I'm freaking thrilled. You've hopefully seen the first two videos. For video one and session one was about building your audience and how to use Facebook ads to find your audience and all that good stuff and define an audience. And then session two was about building an ad. And so now you're going to be communicating with that audience. Your ad might be saying, hey, come like my page, or it might be say, go buy my, I don't know, go buy my mouse. It could be saying anything, right? But now time, and I'm excited about this part, just happy Wednesday. It's time to figure out how to figure out if you did it right or not.
And can you hear me?
That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Using recording. Can you hear me good, Jess?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Turn my volume up a little bit.
All right.
How are you doing today, Jess? How are you coming right out of a meeting? Can you tell us all about it? Can you tell us?
I can't.
What's coming?
There's some big stuff coming up in the world with Pinterest soon, so that's all I can say. I'm telling you guys, if you are not on Pinterest advertising, you are missing out. Pinterest is a fantastic opportunity. Tilted my camera, comes back on. Pinterest is a fantastic opportunity. Great inventory. Highly recommend. Get on Pinterest. Interesting stuff happening over at Pinterest.
Interesting stuff happening over at Pinterest. It's actually intimidating to me a little bit.
Yeah. Pinterest is?
Yeah, because it's typical. It's a couple reasons, and I don't want to go getting all sexist or whatever, but it's definitely a majority. A lot of females are on there percentage-wise, relative.
Yeah, and when Pinterest started, it was dominated by women. It still is about 80%, but, well, sorry, 20% of new signups are actually men. Men is a growing demographic on Pinterest. And the great thing with Pinterest is people who are on there are already primed to engage with your content. Like 87% of content that's on Pinterest comes from brands. People are on there looking for stuff. They're already on there wanting to go off of Pinterest and go to a website to find information. So your audience is so primed, and it's such a large growing audience that it's just a great opportunity for
Another interesting thing is, for me personally, the majority of my clients are women. The majority of the audience. It's interesting. Like I don't plan that. It's just that's what I've noticed. So
yeah,
got me thinking. Okay, I'll throw more stuff on the to-do list.
I'm trying to get my second monitor going, and it is not working.
I see some flashes going on. Yeah,
it's okay.
I'm having an interesting technology day too. I think the Chinese are attacking or something again.
Oh,
I don't know.
I believe Russia. Well, anyway, all right. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to jump in. So on the first call, we went through how to find our audience. Last week, we talked about reaching that audience through ads. We walked through how to set up a campaign, all that good stuff. So now, if we're going sequentially, you have a campaign that's ran a little bit, maybe ran a day or two. a week if you're an overachiever, and launched a campaign right after our call last week. So I'm going to share
which I do know at least one person did that, and I'm incredibly proud of her.
All right, just give me one. So let me get my screen shared. So
while Jess is doing this, guys, real quick, I want to remind you, go down below, launch the Q&A link. Introduce yourself. Tell me who you are, where you're at, and what's going on. I expect that I probably already know you, and that's awesome. But get that thing open so you can throw questions at us as we go. And I'll be managing that for Jess.
Perfect. All right, let me... Can you see my screen okay?
It looks, oh, it's because of the drop down. I was like, it looks faded out. There you go.
There we go. Perfect. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Size matters. Yeah.
Yep. So we're an ads manager, and I ran a post recently to make sure we have some fresh data. I don't know if you guys have been leveraging the 360 images on Facebook yet, but they're awesome. So I took a post where I just shared one and promoted it. $10, boosted it to fans and friends of fans, so nothing super complicated. But this way you should have some recent data. So if you're in Ads Manager, oh, sorry?
Real quick, Jess, the 360 ads, what's so, or 360, why did you say it was so awesome?
I think it creates just another dimension of the experience. And so two parts. One is you're not just looking at a picture, but you're able to get a wider swath of it. So I've been taking some around New York. It gives you the panoramic photos when you share them. They're very wide, but it's hard to see detail. So I think the 360 images create an easier to see and easier to read experience. But also, it gives the user the ability to become involved in the image. You can look at a picture of Grand Central, great, it's a picture. But when you're in a 360 image, you're choosing what parts you look at. You have more ownership over that experience. And so the user becomes more engaged than if they're looking at the same thing as just like a static still image.
Wow.
So it's kind of two parts too.
And it's all about that engagement.
Yeah, and they're super easy. You literally just you cannot upload it to a page yet, only a personal profile. But if you just take a panoramic photo, Facebook will convert it to a 360 image without you having to do any additional work. So it's super easy to make. Definitely recommend checking them out. They're pretty nifty. So I boosted a post, and I used the boost option through the Facebook page. Now, a lot of people feel strongly that boosting is not good for your page, it's bad, and the reason they'll say that is because you don't have as many targeting options as available if you're creating a brand new campaign. I like to boost posts to my fans and friends of fans because Facebook's native, when you publish something organically so you don't boost it, your actual percentage of your audience you're reaching is pretty low. You're not going to be reaching everyone. So by putting, $5 or $10 behind a post that you want your fans to see, you're just ensuring that more people who are already a fan of your page are going to be seeing your content. And since they are a fan of your page, they're more primed and more likely to actually engage with the content. And the more that they engage with it, even though it's an ad, it's increasing that affinity that they have for the page that Facebook sees. So if someone's engaging with you, if someone's a fan of your page, you're boosting your post to them, they're engaging with that boosted post. The next time you publish something organic, it's probably going to have more reach because more people are engaging with it. So I do boost. I think it's still valuable. I'll do them for like $5 or $10. Sometimes when I publish a post that I want to get more eyes on it.
Awesome.
When you boost, it'll say post. It appends post to the front of it and then just uses the copy for the name. So here there's some quick stats, a little bit of navigational things around here. So you have your data for the columns. Default for everyone is going to be performance. And with performance, it's going to show you high-level results, reach, costs. We drop this down.
Yes, slow down a little bit here. Yeah. So when you're, drop that down again. When you said the default, it's performance. And that's because look at all those options. Now go back through what the default is again one more time, slow and.
It's just performance.
But you listed off a couple columns.
Yeah. So these are the columns you'll see here. And there's results, which is going to be, you know, whatever you're optimizing for. Reach, which is the unique number of people that have seen your ad. Cost. But let's say you can customize all of these though. So this is just high level metrics for you. If you say that you really want to look at how many people, if I click on under this column option, let's say for this post, I wanted more people to actually engage with the post, to see it. So I care about engagement. So you have all these other default options here. If I click on engagement, it's going to change my column. So now I'm seeing people, this is people talking, people taking action. The headers are a little squished, which happens just with the column width. And so you can hover over where this I is, it's going to show you the full name and also a definition of what it is. So if you're looking and you're like, you know what, I don't really know what does post shares include, it's going to give you that definition right here. So we can see people taking action is the unique number of people who took any action on your page, which is, you know, awesome. So this, and again, this is high level campaign level metrics because we're on the campaign level.
Hey, Jess, you locked up there and when you started to point toward people taking action, it just, you blacked out. It completely went quiet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You can still see my screen though, okay?
Yes.
Perfect. So if you're ever wondering what a metric means, what it is, if you hover over this I, it's going to give you the definition. So for people taking action, we can see it's the unique number of people who completed any action. Maybe they liked your page, they left a comment, you know, whatever it is. People taking action is going to be similar to reach, where it's going to be the unique number of people that reach is unique number of people that saw your ad. People taking action is the unique number of people that actually took an action on your ad. So this can give you a pretty interesting indication if you're hitting the right audience. If your reach is 10,000 and your number of people taking action is 2, you're probably hitting the wrong audience and you want to dig into that a little more.
So can you give us a good example of a good number there?
The higher the better.
The higher the better, yeah, but like, so 2 out of 10,000 is bad is like, what was your reach? I think it was 2,000 and something.
For this, let me see if it's still on here. Yeah, so for engagement rates, we tend to see on campaigns, I think anything over 1% to 2% is good.
Okay.
Because a lot of times they're gonna be lower. You know, Facebook is gonna be trying to serve as many people as possible. So I think if you get double-digit engagement rates, that's phenomenal.
Double digits is phenomenal. 1 or 2% is normal. So yeah. 1 out of or 10, yeah, okay, 1%. Okay. Because it's really important at this point, especially when we're new. Like for me, I felt like I was just ready to cut my wrist because my numbers were so horrible, but it was because I didn't know. So I needed to learn what was expected or what was normal, if that makes sense.
And you know, as campaigns continue to run, they'll continue to optimize, and as you refine your audience, those numbers, you know, can increase too. So what you want to think about are what metrics are important to you. There are some default setups here that you can, so if you're doing a page like campaign, there's a page like metric setup. And then you can also customize your columns. If we click on here for customize columns, here are the columns selected. You can add in any additional ones over here, and if you hover over the name of the metric, it'll give you that definition for it. So if we wanted to see relevancy score, you know, we have amount spent, just a ton of different options. Now, one thing to know with this is sometimes you'll see that there are actions that are only available on the ad set level. If it's related to, you know, targeting or such, some will be campaign level. So they may change as you go between the different levels. But
so,
yeah.
That's interesting. So, okay, that makes sense though, right? Campaign, ad set, and ad levels are going to have different metrics coming out of them. can we go, I guess the questions are, what should we be looking at? That's like the number one question that everybody asks me, or that I am asking and that I've heard asked. Like there's a whole lot of stuff there, right? Estimated ad recall lift.
Yeah, don't worry about
really,
that.
yeah, it's like I don't really care what that is unless somebody like Jess tells me you got to pay attention to that. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay attention to that, obviously.
So you want to think about what your main goal is. If you are running an ad and you're going to be driving people off of Facebook to a landing page where you want them to be signing up for your newsletter, we want to click on website, and then you want to start looking at what they're actually doing when they get off your site. So are they landing? This is a conversion that any of your custom conversions you created will be listed here. So these are the ones we made last week. So you can start looking at how many people actually leave the site on your ad. But also, if you're running the ad on Facebook, you may want to see, am I getting any additional page likes from this? Because even if you're running an ad to drive traffic off site, there's a good chance you're going to get additional page likes for it. And that is an incremental value that's come on top of any conversions or direct sales from the ad. You may want, I always recommend looking at comments because you want to be monitoring those comments. So look at just pulling in the post comment number here can help you identify if there are comments that you need to go look at. But really customize the metrics you're looking at based on the goals of your campaign. There's going to be more metrics in here than you'll ever need to use, which is, so it's also great that there's a search for it. You can drag and drop these over here on the right-hand column too if you want to arrange them in a certain order. So if I wanted to see, my amount spent in the first column and then post engagements, you can customize exactly how it looks.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
Now, one additional thing that I want to point out in here, we talked the last 2 weeks about putting a pixel on your site and setting up conversions and using that as a conversion pixel. Down here, you're going to see this change attribution window option. Now, the attribution window is saying, how long after someone either views or clicks on an ad are we still going to attribute that conversion to that ad? If you have, let's say you have a campaign you're running that's driving to a landing page that's going to be opting in for a webinar. You may have that running for 1 week, and then the next week you have a different campaign running. So you may say, hey, I really only want to count conversions during this 7-week period. Sorry, 7-day period to that ad because I know that I'm going to be running other campaigns down the road. You may want to set this smaller. So if they see an ad and they convert anytime within 7 days, we want to count it, or maybe it's 28 days if we want a larger window. Generally, the larger your window is, the more conversions will be counted because you may have people who see your ad and they like it, maybe they save it for later, or maybe they don't convert off that ad, but they go and they look for your website a couple days down the road and then they convert later on after seeing it. You can change it in here, so then you can start seeing, what is the time that people are converting after seeing my ad? Are they doing it immediately? If you start seeing most of your conversions are happening after 7 days after your ad, that can be an indication that you need to have some nurtured funnel because when they see your ad, they're not ready to convert right away. But the good news is you can change this at any time, so you don't have to set it up beforehand. You can come back in here and you can make changes to it.
But that's, okay, whoa. That last thing you just said, if you go, okay, and now you're clicking them all, wow. So if I'm looking at an ad, am I changing my, like when you were rearranging your columns and stuff over there, am I changing that for that ad or am I changing that for all my ads?
That's, so when we go and we customize these columns, I'm going to hit, it's going to change your columns on here. So this is just for reporting. It's only, sorry, when you're changing, yeah, so when Facebook is recording your conversions, it's registering how far after viewing the ad they're converting, how far after clicking the ad they're converting. And so what you're doing is you're just defining how that report is set up. So when
Okay.
you're pulling data, you're saying, I just want to see data for conversions within 7 days after clicking on the ad. Or I want to see a report for only conversions with 1 day. So you're not actually changing anything on the ad setup itself. You're changing the reporting that you're viewing.
And okay, so that's important. That's incredibly important what you just said there. You're not changing what's happening. You're not changing what data Facebook is recording. You're just changing what Facebook is showing you.
Yep, exactly.
And then my question is, if I'm let's say I have 3 campaigns running. Each one of those campaigns has a couple ad sets, and each ad set has a couple ads. There's a lot of stuff going on there in my world. That'd be a whole lot of stuff. And I'm doing this at the ad level on one of those ads, and I go in there and I change something. I change how my columns look, or I change the reporting days. What does that do that to every ad level? If I go look at another ad in another campaign, is my display also going to reflect those changes I just made?
It's completely going to depend on how you're navigating through. So you can see here, I'm going to do some.
Oh, I'm navigating.
I'm just going to set up some custom. I'm going to change these around, hit apply. And so now this is going to say custom, right? So if I go and I click into this post, so I want to go see the ad set level reporting, you can see that it maintained that column structure. You can also save this. So if you have a structure that you know you want to use for your reporting setup, you can save it. But if I come back up and I go back to that campaign level, you can see a reset to performance because the page refreshed.
If you drop it down for me, will custom still be there?
If I would have saved it, it would have been, but I didn't save it.
Awesome. So one example of that would be 1 day, 7 day, 28 day engagement versions. That would be one thing that I could do and name it that. That way I could go and look at those numbers on anything I want to go look at. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. Woo. Okay, so this is just. I just want to take a step back and make sure that I'm not overwhelming myself, because if I keep it simple for me, I know everybody else will get it. So basically, we're talking about just ways of looking at data at this point.
Yep, just ways of looking at the data.
Okay, awesome. And and we've covered so far, the important data is going to depend on what you're trying to do. So I'm sorry, yeah, where were you heading? Go ahead, I'm sorry, Jess. What's next? Where do you want to go next? I have a question.
All right, so we're at the campaign level. So let's click in to look at the ad set level. Now this is going to be where you're going to find the easiest way to gain data to optimize your campaign. So for this one, I have one ad set right here. You can see the title, and this spot right up here is going to show you a bunch of graphs. Now, if we click on demographics, it's going to show us an age and gender breakdown. That's super easy to read. So as I hover over the different age brackets, you're going to notice that over here, this information is going to change. So right now, I'm not selecting anything. So I can see for men, my average is 8 cents per result. The blue is post engagement. This green is reach. I could change this here over to amount spent, though, to see where am I spending the most money. So men accounted for 69% of the amount spent and 79% of the post engagements. I can see over here for women 18 to 24, my spend line is substantially higher than my engagement line. So this is a quick spot where I can see, hey, I'm spending more than I'm getting here. Men on the other side, you can see the engagement is higher than the spend. So it's a way to really easily visualize how your campaign is performing. And then if you hover over each group, it's going to change the data here so you can see the actual amount. So for women, my cost per result here for this 18 to 24 is 17 cents. For men, it's 8 cents. So this would tell me, just looking through this data and going through each section, it would tell me that I have a little bit of an imbalance here. Women aren't converting they're not engaging as much, and their cost is more expensive. Specifically, this 18 and 24 is kind of throwing it off. So I may say then I want to change my targeting and I want to remove women in, say, up to 24 years old from it, but I can see men are doing well. So just, it's a visual way to see that breakdown. So I recommend after a campaign has been running, the first optimization that I tend to make is based on age and gender. And if you see anything in here that is alarming, like this, the women 18 to 24, you can go and you can remove that audience from your targeting in order to increase performance, your overall campaign performance.
Let's go slow here. That's awesome. So what I just heard was when I run a campaign or run an ad, this is one of the first places that you go look at. And give me some kind of, like, let's use this example if we could. Give me some kind of barometric, or barometer on how bad this is. Like 17 cents per result compared to 8 cents per result. Is that what I should be looking at?
Yeah.
And
so our average for men is 8 cents and for women it's 14 cents. So really anything that's below average, you want to cut.
Wait 1 second. You said average. What? Anything below average? What is average?
This is our average. It's 14-cent cost per result for women,
yeah,
8-cent cost per result for men, and so our combined. Yeah.
So our combined average would be what, 10, 9, 10, 11 cents or something like that?
Yeah, I could add it as a column down here. Yeah, so if you see like a large imbalance, and the way that I like to look at it is thinking about is just dividing it. So for each result from women that I'm paying for, I could get almost 2 results from men.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is 14 cents, this is 8 cents. Here specifically though, I'm paying 17 cents per result for women and I'm paying 8 cents per result for men. So if I were to remove, let's say that I were to take all of this money spent on women, which is only $2.24 this example, these 13 actions, that could have got me 26 actions from guys.
Awesome.
So I like to compare the two together to see.
Do that again. Do that again and say that again really slow. Like that really is huge.
So
can I try and say it?
Yeah.
Like I want to just make sure I understand it. Basically, this graph is telling you right now that it cost you $2, $2.25 to get 13 actions from women. And if you took that same amount of money and you would have flipped it over and just targeted the men, you would have gotten at least probably double the action. So you would have gotten for the same amount of money, you would have gotten 26 actions.
Exactly.
That's okay. That's huge.
Now for other chunks here, like for the 25 to 34 age range, it's 9 cents versus 10 cents. That's not that dramatic or that large of a difference. So I do recommend always looking at things relative to each other. So men relative to women for the different age groups. You can also do the same thing under placement where it's going to show you desktop, mobile, we have Instagram, and then right-hand rail. So I can see here my desktop newsfeed, 5 cents cost per result, mobile is 9 cents, but on desktop you'll see that our reach is substantially smaller. So here, if we were to remove desktop, I'm actually change this over to amount spent. We only spent 5 cents and we got 1 action. So if we leave desktop in here, it's not going to be hurting anything because we're not spending a lot of money on it. Unlike where women here, like we're actually spending money here. We spent, let me change this over to amount spent. Here we spent $2.24. We spent $5.87 on men. So we spent about half the budget. This will have a larger impact on it. But if you see something similar to that on placement where maybe desktop spent $10 and mobile spent $20 and desktop is at 5 cents and mobile still at 9 cents, then it would tell you, hey, desktop could do well. We're serving more to mobile. And then you could, what I recommend doing is instead of modifying an existing ad set that's running, just duplicate the ad set and launch it with the updated targeting.
All right, so let's go really slow here. You just threw out something else. Okay, so I'm looking at that other graph on placement. Let's go back there for a second. And cost per result is kind of our target thing. Is that what is? Let me ask you that. Let me just ask that. So what is the biggest statistic or biggest, most important piece of information that Facebook serves to you? Is it cost per result?
It depends on what your campaign objective is, but generally cost per result is going to be whatever you're optimizing for. So that is usually the quickest way to see how campaigns are performing.
That's what tells you how big your bang is for how many bucks you're spending.
Yep, it's how much it's costing you to get each, offsite click or each registrant or each page like.
So I get what you're saying now. If on a minute ago I was kind of confused because in mobile it looks like I want to spend more money on mobile than desktop here, but I understand what you're saying. That's just where you're getting engagement. If you cut mobile out and just targeted desktop, it would be 4 cents per engagement less expensive.
Based on the current data, yes. But because we only reached, 25 people, I wouldn't recommend doing it.
Right. It's not there's no, the audience isn't, your audience isn't on desktop basically.
Exactly.
They're on mobile. Okay. All right. And then you were starting to get into, okay, how do we take and apply this data? Should we look at more data before we apply it, or is it time to go apply it?
Well, I think this is a first step, right? You don't want to introduce too many variables. So we could say, here's 1,000 things that we want to change, but we want to do one at a time.
Okay.
So you can really understand the impact that it's having. My recommendation, and what's really considered like best practice in the ad world, is instead of going in and editing, let's say for this example, that we want to, step number one is we're going to split out our genders. So we're going to have one ad set for women and one for men. Instead of editing an existing ad set that's already ran, we want to duplicate and create new ad sets. The best way to do that is Power Editor, where we spent time last week. And so we would just come in all tools. We would just go into Power Editor. So that's right. This is the new Facebook navigation for business, for Ads Manager, which you may have the old navigation. If you do, then this is more stuck on the left-hand side versus having to click through all these times.
Okay.
But here is our Power Editor. This is our campaign. We'll click on the campaign to view that data. So now I have this. I'm going to tick this. I'm going to select this ad set. And then right up here, okay, in the same campaign. So I'm going to have one. So now I duplicated it once, and I'm going to make this one. Sorry. Where'd my targeting go? Oh, I boosted this native actually, so I have to. All right, typically.
It's boosted versus an ad, so it's different. Is that what you're gonna say? Yeah. Wow.
So here, we'll use this one for an example because this one I created. So because we made a change to this, it's still here. I'm going to delete it. So this is one ad set. We can click here to duplicate. We're going to duplicate in the same campaign.
Okay, yeah, that's the campaign. All those were options for the campaign. Okay.
And then right in here is our targeting. So I'm going to make this one. This one will just be men. And then I'm going to rename this. I'm going to click on the pencil. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to add men to this. And then I'm going to hit duplicate one more time in the same campaign. And I'm going to make this one women. And then you can also change the name right up here to make it women. And then I would want to have these two turned off and then or turned on. And then I'm gonna turn off the old ad set. So what we did here is instead of editing an ad set that's already ran, is we're launching 2 new ad sets within that same campaign. And in those 2 new ad sets, then we contain that split for the targeting right in here. The reason you want to do that, there's 2 reasons. One is it's going to keep your data clean. So now the data for this ad set, we don't have to go, oh, hold on, you know, I only want to filter from June 1st to June 5th because on the 6th I changed the targeting in it. And let's just look at the total time span of that ad set to compare to others. And the second one is Facebook, all of your campaigns and your ad sets, everything you do, it's going to gain historical data. And so Facebook has optimized this ad set to serve to the existing audience. When you change it, it's going to be only reaching part of that audience that Facebook is already optimizing for. So the performance tends to be weaker than if you launch a new ad set with the updated targeting.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That all did make sense because you're yes. Now, the one question I have real quick though is another think, this is a question. Basically you just went from, let's say, spending $10 on that one ad and now you're a week and now you're spending $20 a week. So you've got, is that?
Yep, unless you change your budget. So we could hit edit. Yeah, because
you basically went in and changed and created two budget with the same budget.
Yes, so you'd want to adjust your budget here. So for this, we'd want to go down to 10 or 5.
Whatever. Split it. Like if you were spending $10 a week before on one ad, and now you split that ad into 2 ads to do the testing. Now you want to do $5 each, or unless you just want to elevate. But yeah, to get the I get okay what we're saying. Okay, cool. Wow, powerful. Okay, what's next, boss?
All right, so now we're gonna go back into Ads Manager. Oh, I'm just gonna hit the back button. One moment.
Yeah, the video and everything slows everything down.
Yeah. So something else you can do is, if we're looking at the table down here, is we have this breakdown option. Under breakdown, you're going to see a ton of different options: age, gender, country if you're running stuff internet, and it will be within the country. Oh, there we go. You can also look by action. Come on, come back here. You can also look by action. So it's going to show you if it's a carousel ad, the placement, the destination URL, device, and then you have by time. And so you're going to be able to see, like if we did day, I'll click day here. It's going to show me the data. This only ran for 2 days, so it shows me the data for both days. You can layer these. So if we said I want to see it by day, and then I also want to see my data by region, it allows you to dig more into the ad. I'm going to take the time period off because it's too many rows. So now I can see how my campaign performed by each state.
Wow.
So yeah, so you can really, there's a lot of ways that you can dig into the campaign. So I can see here, let's say that I want to just look at results. So which ones? Texas. My post did very well in Texas. I got 13 engagements for 9 cents. But look at Arizona, 7 engagements for 4 cents. Here we have 5 for 7 cents. And look at these, similar amount of spend, similar reach. So we could say, based on this data, that Arizona performs better than Alabama. New York did not do well, potentially because I shared a picture of New York to people who are in New York. So you can really dig in some more, and you can export this data to an Excel spreadsheet, which might make it a little easier to analyze than viewing in here.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, so there's a ton of options, and all you want to do is think about So after like the age and gender and then device, you can start going in. I'm like, all right, what else could be impacting my campaign performance? Could it be location? What else could be going on? And then just digging in and seeing if you see any trends in particular. A lot of this is just going around and playing around and just seeing what your data shows.
Did I see a time of day, or is that just, you break it down by day?
So there is day, and then there's also time of day. I would recommend doing impression. If you're going to look at this, look at impression time zone, because you can do day parting, which will allow you to serve the ad based on time of day.
That's what I was wondering. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So if here we have it structured by the actual time, we can see, midnight, my costs are going down a little bit. They go back up. This is probably early morning. People are getting on. So you can look for any trends. The big thing is just looking at your data, seeing if there are trends, and then removing the audiences that aren't performing as well, so you can focus your advertising dollars on those top performing audiences.
So right now, like on the screen that I see, somewhere was 10 to 11, 22 to 23, which is 10 to 11 p.m. Oh, you changed it.
No, it's right here.
Right? But it's 6 cents per 6 cents, and you got 11 results, 11 engagements. Is that cost per engagement, 6 cents?
Yep. This is cost per result. Which
and you know that mostly, so you know that there's a lot of men looking at your there's 11, there's probably, okay, awesome. So you can target, you can just, the layers of targeting are blowing my mind right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. So it's just finding, running an ad, running a campaign, so you get that initial data, and then going through and looking at the data and finding out where those top performing audiences are, and then optimizing your campaign to be reaching those audiences who are going to be engaging more and more likely to convert at a better cost.
Wow. Okay, what's next?
Well,
Or is
this is kind of it. So today is our plan was reporting, and then any additional Q&A from previous weeks. So this is the reporting segment and everything you need to know to look in and analyze your campaigns. Oh, you can, here's navigation similar to Power Editor. So you can view this campaign, ad sets, or ads in this campaign, similar data on the ad level. So are there any questions about anything we've gone over today, anything we went over on the last 2 weeks, anything else yeah?
I have one question real quick. Everybody that's on right now, there's a Q&A link down below, and you got roughly 15 minutes, and you got Jess Bahr on here, so ask anything you want to ask right now about Facebook ads. My head's spinning, to be honest with you. Jess, my question is this: how much time? Wow! And this is just like, in my mind, like the top level of getting into your stuff, right? Because next I've got to make sure, if my goal is to get them to go opt in for this webinar, the next level is my copy, is my ad, not my ad, my copy, but my content, is everything else all good too?
That's the funnel.
So how much time?
I recommend thinking about running a campaign is like a little bit of daily maintenance. So if you go in and you check in and you spend, 15, 20 minutes maybe every day or every other day, and just come in and see how things are going. But after we made some changes, you can let this run for 4 or 5 days before coming back in to look at it and see how it's going. It does take a little bit of time for that data to accumulate. But if you're running a campaign and you just come in and you check it daily, it's going to save you more time than if you say, I'm going to look at it once a week, and then you spend, 4 hours looking at it. I just recommend daily maintenance. Go in, check your campaigns, maybe in the morning when you get up or after lunch, and just see how they're going. You can just high level look at the charts. If you do want to dig in deeper, you can dig in and look at some of these other breakdowns. But typically, I recommend just spending put half an hour on your calendar every morning just to go and check your campaigns.
Wow.
I was gonna say, it's like if you get this, you may not get this analogy, but if you get your eyebrows waxed and then you tweeze every day, it saves more time than trying to go in once a week and spend, like 40 minutes tweezing, and it's way less painful when you do it daily.
I love it. You're right. I don't get that completely, but I get it. So another question that's popping up in my head, and I do see questions popping up on the question thing. I'll get there in a second. One question I have is statistical relevance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I run this ad and my reach, when do I know I've run enough ad to go make a decision? Does that make sense? Like, if okay.
So I recommend running a campaign for at least a full week so that any fluctuations that happen between like Monday and Tuesday or weekdays versus the weekend are going to be accounted for. Any fluctuations that happen during the day will be accounted for. But you'll notice when you're running a campaign that after a little while on, let's say, the ad level, Facebook, specifically on the ad level within an ad set, Facebook is going to serve the ad that performs the best more frequently. So Facebook will actually start optimizing your campaign for you almost immediately after it starts running. So if I come in and then I start to see, hey, I have 3 ads in an ad set, and 2 of the ads have a reach of under 100, and my third ad has a reach of 900. I'm pretty confident that Facebook has determined this is the best ad. And then I'll go back and look at the ad set level.
But that's not changing all this other stuff we're talking about. That's just Facebook deciding between these 3 ads and the audience that you selected, right?
Yeah. So then I'll go back and look at the ad set level. There isn't a magic number for like number of impressions to hit. If you are running like a small campaign and your potential audience is pretty small, you may never actually reach. If we're looking for actual statistical significance between different ads, you may never reach it. Between different ad sets, you may never reach it because of the audience size. Facebook is, and I think social media and digital marketing in general, it's going to be a lot more of just, do I feel confident with the number of impressions that are served or the number of people reached to make a decision. So I think as soon as you've been running, so that's why I like to go off time more. So after it's been running for about a week, going in and making the changes.
Interesting. So you're flat out saying go with a week. So if I'm spending $5 a day, or let's say $5 a day for a week versus spending $25 or $50 a day for a week, then you're still saying stick with the week.
Yeah.
Just use the numbers, use the money and the numbers that you're giving for that week because of the days. Okay.
Yep, exactly. And then you want to look, and if in the example when we looked at desktop versus mobile, where we have such a huge discrepancy in the number of people reached for this, so we probably can't confidently make a definitive decision on how desktop performs because it's really small. But Facebook is saying more of your audience is on mobile. It's already optimizing it for it. So we can go with mobile. But if we were looking at, let's say these are 2 different ad sets, we may not feel confident in decisions made for one with a reach so small. That's why I think it's good to always look at things relevant to each other. So men relative to women, desktop relative to mobile, when doing it.
So, okay, awesome. So Lisa, hi, Bernard, it's good to see you. There's a question from Bernard. Let's see. What's the best way to compare or make a report to compare the performance between ad sets from the same campaign? So what's the best way to compare or make a report?
Yeah, I'm going to jump into a campaign that has a couple more ad sets in it so we can look at them with each other. I think this one should. Ad sets. Okay, so here we can see that just looking, we're on this side, we're on the ad set level. And we can choose our metrics I want to look at right over here, and then you can export. I do generally export these to Excel if I'm doing like a larger analysis. But this is the quickest way to see how they perform against each other. Facebook built into their reporting doesn't have anything that's going to show you percentages compared to each other, where it's not going to say the lookalikes did 20% better than coaches or such. If you export to Excel, you can easily put in some formulas to do that. But this level of reporting would be the best place to go for that.
Okay. And what are and this is the performance, same thing. So then the next question is, or the next level would be the same thing. You look at the drop down there with performance or engagement, right?
Yep,
And
yeah, you can pick whatever you want. You can do that customizable columns again and customize the engagements that you're seeing, or sorry, customize the metrics that you're seeing. And then you can also export.
type it in there again. If that did or did not answer the question, I hope it did answer the question though. I want to give everybody else a chance, man, real quick. Any other questions? It's funny, I see people, I never trust these numbers, Jess, on my on the Hangouts on how many people are on here at any given time.
Oh, are they?
They're always changing. Like just now we went up. There was like several people that just joined just now. So if you just joined, welcome. You should have been here about an hour ago, because holy cow, my mind has been blown by, you know what? It blows me away, Jess. Everything comes down to perspective. And your perspective on Facebook ads and sharing that has helped me rethink so much in this last hour. I want to say thank you again, man. I want to say thank you publicly, because you've helped us, you've helped me. Yeah, never mind everybody else right now. I'm going to get selfish a little bit. These hours that you've dedicated to us have helped me a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you guys have any questions after this, I'm on Twitter at Jess Bahr. You can definitely tweet at me.
Awesome. It's amazing. I love, and I to be honest with you, I'm not a Twitter user very effectively. I'll put it that way. So that's not the best way for me to communicate with you. But guys, if you guys want more information, check it out real quick. Let me wrap this up, I guess, so we can get Jess out of here. She's a very busy lady. But down below, there's no buy now button or anything. But if you were not on the info list for this, if you did not get an email for this, there's an itty bitty little link down there in between the two buttons. And if you want access to the other two videos, the other two training sessions, so you get access to all three training sessions, make sure and get your name on that list. So click that link and fill that out. If you have a question, throw it in here right now. I'm sorry, there's a Q&A link down there. And there's also a more info link down there as well. So if you want more information on any of this stuff, I will do my best to make sure Jess gets the questions that she needs and I get the questions I need, and we get everything answered. But the question, okay, so real quick, Jess, I'm going back to Bernard's question in my head, and what I realized after the question was I can look at the performance of an ad, I can look at the performance of multiple ads compared to each other, I can look at the performance of an ad set and then how they compare to different ad sets, and I can even do that at the campaign level.
Yep.
So you're looking at the performance of all that stuff and that makes sense now why it's so important and to maybe important if you've got a lot of data to pull that stuff out to Excel.
Yeah, it makes it a little easier. You can put it into a pivot table or easily put into graphs to better visualize it. And it's so much easier to consume when it's in a visual medium.
So next week, we're going to be talking about how to use Microsoft Excel to... No, we're not.
Classes online.
There's tons of stuff there online. So guys, real quick, my name is Clay. My whole thing is, here's the trick. Are you executing? Are you sitting down and doing the things that you're learning to do? One of the things that I've realized that we suffer from in this world or this entrepreneurial journey is consumption. We use consuming information and consuming data as a distraction from actually doing the things that we need to do. So if you are not doing that, that's where I come in. I help people develop high performance habits and tactics and tricks around stuff in order to get your subconscious out of your way so that it helps you instead of hinders you. That's one thing. Jess, you want to rattle off all the different amazing ways they can get in touch with you? Because
I'm everywhere with the exact same username, Jess A Bahr, so JESSABAHR on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Jess@socialflow.com, director of paid strategy here at an ad tech startup. So yeah, just I'm very responsive on Twitter. Twitter is probably my jam. So tweet at me if you have any questions about anything after, or if you're watching the replay and have a question.
awesome. And Snapchat, I met Jess on Snapchat, and I like Snapchat a lot. So I'm playing on there a little bit. Ladies, gentlemen, I hope this helped. I hope everything is good. Uh-oh, hang on. Yeah, okay, cool. Hang on. I just want to make sure do we get everything answered? Nothing. Wait, hang on a second. There is somebody here. It didn't make easy. Something about Jess. I'm translating here through the spreadsheet to ask this question. When you create ad sets, is there a way to sort the ad sets
Sort
as
by
they're
what?
displayed? Well, Bernard is saying that he creates the ad. He sometimes creates ad sets like in different times, and so other stuff will be created in the middle. So he'll edit this ad set, and then there's this ad.
Oh.
So it's hard to compare those. Is there a way?
If you are in, yeah, there's one of the customizable column options is date started. And since your campaign start and end date's actually pulled from the ad set level, if you create another ad set, it's going to show that start date being a little bit later. So if I created an ad set on Monday, if I created one today, it'll show the start date for that as today. So that's one of the options on those customizable column listings.
Okay, cool. I hope that helped, Bernard. I hope that makes sense. If it didn't, you guys can get in touch with Jess at Jess A Bahr,
Yeah.
all over the place. And you guys know how to get in touch with me. And make sure you sign up. Next week, I am going to be doing another webinar on accounting, setting up your accounting systems. So that's going to be exciting. Keep an eye out for that. Ladies, gentlemen, Jess, bottom of my heart, man, thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't hesitate to reach out for me for anything you might need. I'm a heck of a connector. That's one of the things that's fun.
Sounds good. I have to jump off and head to another meeting, full day of meetings, but thanks for having me, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
Thank you, Jess. I'll see you guys. We're going to end this now, everybody. Have fun, everybody.